The Hawaiian shirt is back, and so are the rest of the new Marvel cast for the next 2 years. Or at least the ones that are still alive. Too soon? Hey there, it's Blaze, and today we're going to be discussing the MCU's Phase 4. Recently, Marvel unveiled the new lineup at 2019 San Diego Comic-Con for the next phase in Kevin Feige's grand plan. Mind you, these are only a few projects that are grabbing people's attention, while others could be hidden away in Marvel's vault yet to be announced. Which is great, they're introducing new characters in this new platform that they're creating. But, though I'm excited, I'm a little apprehensive, which in the MCU means
I spotted the threat, Commander. Take her out.
No, I'm good. You know, it's great. Hawkeye TV series, you love it. Just think about it, there are 10 superhero titles, 5 of which are films, and the other half are TV shows, with potentially 3 seasons. Well, at least before Disney decides to pull the plug. And even with that, we have a few goodies sprinkled in between. Look, I'm not a complainer, but judging by the way these title graphics look, that's a lot. Don't get me wrong, Marvel and DC have both done some amazing things for my childhood, but what the heck is this crap? And for a person who's studied digital design for 3 years, it just looks like someone learned gradients, decided to pen tool the crap out of these titles, and say, yeah, it's good enough. And I hate to be the one to say it, but superhero fatigue is a thing, and we thought Kathleen Kennedy was crazy for pumping out Star Wars films every year. But beyond that, we have very limited knowledge of what to expect past the Loki stands in the front screaming. However, my friends, this is where I take precedent. And though this video is more or less guided rambling, I'll unpack these titles and start in chronological order, helping usher you guys in the new wave of superheroes, as well as giving you some of my thoughts and theories. So without further delay, let's start with the best looking title of them all. I want to preface by saying, if you haven't seen Endgame, go buy the film! So this film is a prequel to the secret life of the late assassin Natasha Romanoff, played by Scarlett Johansson, who manages to stumble into more controversies than vloggers on YouTube. Wouldn't it be weird if it wasn't a prequel, she just fell 1,000 feet off some magical planet and suddenly she's back to kicking butt? And as we've seen through leaked photos, they're currently in the production of the film, which is set to be released May 1st, 2020. Weirdly, I never felt too much of a connection throughout the Avengers saga, but compared to Hawkeye, way better. I mean, Natasha's been around since the second Iron Man film, and it's only when she dies that she gets a solo. As a director, if you want to show that you're all for female empowerment, great! Like, why wait until the character is 6 feet under, or wherever the heck she's buried because she didn't get a funeral in Endgame, to finally give her a prequel? I promise this video isn't just me ranting, but don't tell me you weren't thinking the same thing. You have now beloved characters like Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor with exceptional solo films, except for Thor Dark World. We don't talk about Thor Dark World. But I don't even think anybody remembers. But just to be safe, just look at this. There you go, you've been blessed. And it's not like I wouldn't be advocating for Hawkeye as well. You know, if not a prequel, then maybe a TV show, which he does have a TV show, which apparently isn't even about him anyway, but one timeline at a time. I just really wish Feigie would have spaced this out better, then it wouldn't have seemed like a ham-fisted attempt at editing the past. Because if you remember the dream sequence in Age of Ultron where everyone was having like this traumatic flashback, and Natasha had this weird dream of being in the Red Room, like where was the prequel then? And what happened in Budapest? So to future directors and screenwriters, here's a tip. Don't write a character's death if you're gonna keep using them in future films. If you're gonna kill off a character, they're done. They're not transported into another character like some Freaky Friday nonsense. They're not revived through memories of a little too late prequel that we asked for 8 years ago. And they cannot, most definitely cannot, be estranged in some multiverse reality. So suck it up and move on like the rest of us who are trying to mourn. So 2 soldiers fighting crime at one price, their lives. Like Miami Vice or any buddy cop TV show. So the show isn't in production until October of this year and will be later released in August 2020. Now, I'm an advocate for the show. I love Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie's chemistry. But when old man Cap escaped from Sherman Oaks retirement home and gave Sam a shield, I was like, what? Where did this come from? Like, I get it, Bucky's a potential danger, and anyone who asks him to go to Homecoming, he's like, you'd like me to murder somebody. That's not what I said. Really? Because I'll drown someone in this punch bowl right now. Jesus Christ. I feel like there wasn't as much of a bond with Cap and Falcon as there was with Bucky. I do see each other respecting as one another as civil servants, and Falcon like admiring Cap as a soldier, but I don't think they're on the level of making friendship bracelets. But based off of the casting, it looks like Baron Zemo is going to be rearing his ugly head again, and I don't want to see Bucky become the puppet anymore. Like, I'm sick of the hypnotic nonsense for the past 4 MCU films. I mean, it could be a plot in the show that I see the directors executing between Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I just want to see Bucky do some good, even if the brooding has to happen. And maybe they'll bring Cap as a consultant or visit his grave. So Eternals is another film set to be released November 6, 2020. Unfortunately, I'm very limited in my knowledge of the Eternal storyline, but with a couple of appearances in the well-known comics and some simple researching, here's what you need to know. Whoa. Oh, hi. Welcome to the comic bubble. So hopefully the more I do these types of videos, the landing will not only be softer, but I'm hoping that this will turn into some sort of thing beyond me wearing a pair of glasses and in a darker room. But mainly this segment is made for giving you info on comic stuff in an interesting and educational way, I guess, and it helps break up the video from its monotonous feel. But on to the Eternals. So the Eternals are an immortal race of superpowered beings originated by the Celestials who inhabit Olympia. They're comparable to the X-Men and the Inhumans, except they're all ancient beauties that tend to keep the peace on Earth and have powers ranging from strange and sometimes fearsome. So similar to the conflict between the Skrulls and the Kree, the Eternals have their own beef with a race known as the Deviants, who are anything but beautiful and are seen as less evolved. Now if you excuse me, I gotta go take care of a Deviant. This is gonna be a bit. So to make it easier for you all, the Celestials are on top of the food chain, while the Deviants are on the bottom. There's that you I was looking for. But how could they possibly intertwine this story within the MCU's current timeline? Well, with the help of a certain warmongering titan, the story's quite a story. See, like all traumatic events, it begins at birth. Thanos was born of an eternal mother and father, and upon birth, the mother attempts to kill him as he presented less than desirable qualities that were known as Deviant Syndrome. As we know now, she fails, but that traumatic experience launches any hope of Thanos saving his childhood and sends him down a dark path of obsession and infatuation with death. There's speculation that Galactus will appear, but I highly doubt it, and again, everything is purely theories and speculation at this point. So, shockingly, I know absolutely nothing about this character, so I researched. I did not realize we were still doing this thing. Alrighty then. So not only is Shang-Chi a master of martial arts and strikes fear in his opponents, but he's also a master of his destiny and his past. See, Shang-Chi was born into a Chinese criminal syndicate, with his father being the most infamous of them all. Growing up, he was raised to be an assassin for his father's work, and had to take out anyone that he pleased, but eventually he found strength in using his hands and his mind. But eventually, Shang-Chi realizes his father's deception, and he decides to take justice into his own hands. Coming to a theater near you, February 12th, 2021. Dude, I'm picturing Snake Eyes mixed with Bruce Lee meets Mr. Smith. How have I not heard this character? So I'm so pumped for this film. It's martial arts mixed with superhero elements. How is that not a combination already? That is honestly the best combination of genres ever. Obviously they're in pre-production, but he seems to be very dedicated to bringing justice to this role, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Doctor Strange and the Universe of Madness, or Madness of the Multiverse. However they're wording it, but it's coming to a theaters near you May 7th, 2021. This might be one of the most anticipated and probably ambitious films of the next year or so. Doctor Strange's first film was very good. Its cinematography was spectacular and its effects defied all laws of logic and physics. But with Master Wong on his side and no damsel in distress, Doctor Strange finally has some free time on his hands, and he seems to be appearing in a couple of these titles. Also, Baron Mordo is coming back, which I'm so happy because I thought they were going to just waste a completely good character. But I'm happy that they didn't and they're bringing him back. But I'm mainly excited because they're bringing in a new villain, which is probably one of the most fearsome ones in the comics, Nightmare. And I'm so excited to see their powers clash, and even with Scarlet Witches. Which, by the way, I'd like to see Strange's power capabilities. I'd like to see what he's mastered and what he still has to grow from, you know? The Ancient One told us that Strange is supposed to be the best defense against those who threaten the Earth. I mean, I definitely don't want him to be like at the very bottom of his power range, but obviously we don't want a completely maxed out OP Minecraft veteran from the very beginning, you know, Doctor Strange. I just need progression. I need to watch him grow and progress, like a pupil being master of his own domain. I'm sorry, am I the only one who's not loving this title? It just sounds like a fan fiction. Anyway, female Thor is coexisting in the same time as Odin's son Thor, which is still very weird to me. In the words of Valkyrie, I think I would have preferred them as one or the other, but I'm glad that they're bringing Natalie Portman back because I feel she's grown as an actor and was certainly underutilized in the Thor films. Which they've also announced that Valkyrie is making her return again, and have openly announced that she is an LGBTQ+ character. So I'm assuming that Thor is going to be passing off the hammer to Mighty Thor, also known as Jane Foster, who I think is supposed to be the replacement for Thor, like I said. Thor, he's always had this preset destiny where he's supposed to be king, or, you know, supposed to be the defender of Earth, and he's giving up both of those titles to become just Thor. You know, he's never been just Thor. He's always been king, or god of thunder, or Earth's mightiest hero. Now he's on his own path with a rabbit in a tree because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 needs to happen. By far the runner-up in the worst title graphic ever. She's never really had a chance to shine throughout the films. Granted, she was mainly like a minor character, I guess, until like Civil War. But compared to the comics, her power capabilities have only been tapped into like 1%. Now, we're getting an entire TV show where she can finally go crazy and do something devastating. Because for 5 years, I have been waiting patiently for Scarlet Witch to do something that finally makes me go, oh, I'm looking for Dark Phoenix devastation, which there's a storyline that I think they could absolutely integrate within this TV show. The storyline takes place where Scarlet is absolutely devastated by her losses, her husband, Vision, of course, and the kids that they had, but in this reality, they don't have kids, but, you know, for all we know, she could just revive some, you know, dead kids and raise them as her own. You know, it's her reality. She can do pretty much whatever she wants, but at the same time, it drives her into a state of madness. But within that revival, she could also potentially, you know, revive a certain silver-haired speedster who wasn't fast enough to dodge 16 bullets. There has been too many Quicksilver jokes over the last 5 years. It's enough. Enough's enough. Leave him alone. There's also this other theory that I have where she had some initial programming from Vision when she was trying to extract the Mind Stone from him. So maybe she might have a spare save file, which if you're a gamer or computer tech person, you know you always have spare save files. But during all that, Doctor Strange makes an appearance, and either friend or foe, it would be interesting to see both Wanda and him clash with their powers. So the God of Mischief returns spring of 2021. The guy whose redemption character arc was created just to have his neck snapped and blown to smithereens. A future of an anti-hero Loki arc thrown down the drain. Brothers who can once see the sun shine on them again. All for nothing. Why even try? Why even just give me the chance to even think there'd be a possibility that Thor could have an empty ending? Why on planet Earth does the show exist? And again, like Black Widow, the show is late. And it's not even about him, it's his daughter. If I didn't care about his character in the main films, what makes you think I'm gonna like his daughter? Like what? This is Marvel logic at its best. So when I first saw this title, I thought this was gonna be the lamest show, and such a waste of one at that too. But I just looked over the cast list, and this is all for a TV show. So basically What If contains a sequence of alternate realities and events that could potentially happen. Questions like, what if Loki was able to take over the Earth? What if Black Panther actually died? What if Logan never happened and I could continue living my life as a normal person instead of the shell of my former self? So basically, Black Mirror. The show will contain a monologue entry and will be seen through the eyes of a watcher, who are known as the Guardians of the Universe, the Keepers of Time, and manage reality as we know it. The show casts a bunch of characters who I can describe that are a bunch of one-purpose appearances, but they have a couple Avengers sprinkled in. Like I said, there are a lot of films on the Marvel roster, and I still don't even know how I haven't gone broke yet. Based off of the unusual lineup, I really hope that they take their time with it and don't botch it as some sort of corporate money grab. Because let's be honest, Disney's catchphrase is getting that bread, and they'd better be taking their time with it. And if they're going to be taking their time with it, the budget of these TV shows are going to be astounding. I mean, I thought Doctor Who episodes were absolutely expensive. And again, there are a bunch of projects that are yet to be revealed, but might come later down the line, but I can't help but feel there's a bunch of questions that I have that are left unanswered. Editing Blaze. Questions were answered. Alright. Mainly because no, I did not watch the official press release of the Marvel lineup. Mainly because I'm saltier than a pack of premium saltine crackers. And if you watch my Far From Home review, you know that is only the beginning. Fantastic Four. Meh, third time's a charm. Captain Marvel and Valkyrie. Okay, piqued my interest. Blade. They're remaking Blade after like 20 years and I'm excited. I mean, I enjoyed it as a kid, except for Blade Trinity. We don't talk about Blade Trinity. X-Men. Look, it's only been 3 years since Logan and like a couple months since that travesty called Last Stand Part 2, okay? Just give it some time to breathe. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Be sure to comment down below your theories and inquiries, and I'll be sure to respond to them as soon as possible. Also follow my social media links because that's important because you get to see some behind the scenes stuff and what I do in my daily life behind, off camera. But yeah, see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.